All right, guys, it's Robinson.
And Robinson.
We're back after a short time off. The Super Bowl has happened. The Chiefs, the offseason is here. We've got the offseason moves going on. We've got teams making moves. The Rams are already dropping people. Free agents are flying around. The rumors are going. So we're going to jump right into it with my assessment of how the Chiefs went and what we're looking for briefly for next year as far as bringing in rookies and things like that. As far as the draft, not necessarily talking about specific players, but just where we would like to fortify this team. Nothing really is going to change us extremely unless we bring in some kind of superstar or something like that as a key player on defense. So for me, jumping right on the offense, quarterback, you know what it is. We have possibly the best quarterback in the league. Excuse me, we do have the best quarterback in the league. We have a nice running back stable with Pacheco. Hopefully, they bring back McKinnon. Hilaire will probably be moved, and who knows? They might bring Ronald Jones since he kind of didn't make a lot of noise this year. Receiving core, bringing back obviously Kelsey, Sky Moore, um, Noah Gray, Tony, Fortson. Obviously, I think they will. MVS. Obviously, I think they probably will draft a young receiver to come in here. Or for me personally, I would like to go get a veteran who is similar to Schuster if we can't get Schuster at the price that we'd like. I really like what it made Mahomes do. Come to a more depend on your team. You never know who's getting the ball, as he said before the season, and I think that really helped. O line. Um, I don't know if Junior's going to appreciate a tag again. If he does, that's fine. If not, hopefully we can get him at a price that makes sense for the team. He did play very well. I don't want to get into the argument like beginning of last season is why pay him what he wanted. Unfortunately, this year the numbers are going to shake down that he was probably a top 10 tackle. He was not in the top five, maybe once the playoffs started and all that, but he still was a top 10 tackle. He did his job. Um, Defense, I'm not really going to go over that. I'll let Amani get it. So, like I said, I think for this Chiefs team on offense, you're looking at just fortifying positions, doing like we have done the last 2 years. The year before, it seemed like we brought in a bunch of youth on offense. This last year, they brought in a bunch of youth on defense. I think you kind of lock this team up for the next 2 to 3 years at your core positions, and going from there. Monty, what do you see on defense going forward next year, and what did you like this year?
So defensively, I like the improvement at linebackers. That's always been a problem with us. And then Nick Bolton just continued to develop as one of the best tacklers in the league, the best run stoppers.
You had a man crush on Leo Chanel. What did you think of his year?
It wasn't as much as I expected him to do, but he still played a really solid role. I wasn't expecting Carl Loftus to come in and do what he did, applying pressure, batting down balls, and all that sort of stuff. And then, especially early on in the year, in the middle of the year, Dunlap getting all those pass deflections that he was having to. I didn't expect him to have as much of an impact as he did up in his age that he is right now. And then, of course, Chris Jones just doing what he does up the middle. One of the best, if not the best, defensive tackle in the league. Just constantly applying pressure, constantly making noise right there in the middle. And then, of course, our back end on the defense still left a little bit to be desired. It was better than I thought it would be, but still could use some fortifying back in the secondary.
But that was expected as rookies.
Yes.
We don't want to be overcritical with that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mean to cut you off. I'm going to tell you guys right now, in the land of you got to pay people, I have one guy on this team that I want to pay attention to, and that's L'Jarius Sneed.
Mm-hmm.
The versatility that I think is overlooked, the fact that this guy was drafted as a safety tweener. Remember, he was drafted as a safety initially, but he obviously had other talents, kind of like McDuffie. McDuffie could play as far as zone and man coverage. He had that versatility. Mm-hmm. The way they can move this guy around, the way he has enabled himself to be a functional blitzer now, mm-hmm. with 3.5 sacks this year. I think he had another 3 or 4 last year. Mm-hmm. Coming off that end, it looked like they did a little of that with McDuffie and a couple other rookies at the end of the year. The versatility of this defense is really coming to play. But go ahead with your breakdown.
Yeah, like I said, that wasn't a knock on the secondary. It's just we're really young, so just adding some veteran pieces in there to help move along the young guys, that would really help it out. And then the safeties, bringing in Reed, he played a solid role this year. and of course,
Cook, the rookie Cook.
yeah, Cook and Thornhill
Yeah.
playing their roles. Thornhill, in my opinion, took a step up this year,
Yes.
considering last year they didn't really trust him as much and didn't want to play him as much. He really showed that he is a pretty solid safety in this league.
Agree. Thornhill is also a guy, as long as he doesn't want to break the bank. I'd appreciate bringing a guy like him back. So we're not going. Once again, we don't want to beat a dead horse with this Chiefs team. We could pick like Saunders, who quietly led the defensive line in tackles. I could look at, like he said, Leo Chenal, the versatility later on in this season, how they were on rundowns, he was coming through, and then on pass downs, depending on rotations. Micah Dana would go inside. He'd also give some breather to Dunlap on that left side. They moved Karlofskis around. The versatility of this line that they did to hide the fact that we only had one true one and a half, because Karlofskis and 55 do their thing. Clark did their thing, but it's just not, right now they're just not 10 sack guys. So I really like the versatility of this line. So yeah. So this draft will be important. I don't want to get it wrong. I feel like we have teams. We have a mid-teens in picks as far as how many we have. So look for some of those draft picks to possibly move for veterans, or just to move up a spot to get a guy who they know can maybe come in and in case you lose a D tackle, in case you lose one of the safeties, in case you lose Wiley on the offensive line, or in case a legitimate tweening number 1/number 2 receiver who comes on you can trust. So the Chiefs, we got another Super Bowl. That's 2. A lot of us never saw in our lifetimes. My kids got to see 2 Super Bowls already, so these kids get to go up in a lovely time. All right, moving over to the NBA quickly. Once again, we're not going to give a huge breakdown. Some trades went down. We're not going to go over all of them. Just kind of go over where the standings are right now, and as far as the playoffs go, what we could expect. For me, I think last time we looked at this, we'll do about 2 teams from the East and 2 teams from the West. You can give one sleeper. For me, the 2 teams in the East is actually, as it goes up top, Boston and Milwaukee. I really like Philly. I think they play better consistent defense. All 3 of those play defense, but it looks like the Celtics without Williams, their defense drops a little lower than the 76ers' consistent defense is, as well as Milwaukee, who has played a lot without Giannis at times, and Middleton's really not played a lot this year. And that team with just Drew Holiday and other filler with the resurgence of Brook Lopez, have just really kept it together, that this team that doesn't have a lot of names that matter just continues to be at the top. So those are set there for me. I really don't see any sleepers in the East coming to do anything. If I had to throw anybody out just for funsies, I like the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think it's really neat the pressure that those 2 guards can put on you, and then the backside defense at the rim protection. Monty, you can go ahead and do the West.
Right now, I also like the top 2 teams there, the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. But then again, coming up out that 6th seed, the Dallas Mavericks, what they did acquiring Kyrie. When them 2 are on the floor together, it looks really nice. Kyrie with his ability, and Doncic just absolutely dominating out there. But back to the top 2 teams, the Grizzlies with all the confidence and swagger they said. And depth. Just them saying that no one could really mess with them. Plus them putting the beat down on the Nuggets recently.
The one pause I will give in that is without their center, they have been losing games. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Missing, he's escaping my mind right now. Their center holding it down. So that's kind of exposed them a little bit when you don't have a man in the middle that, considering how, to me, their whole lineup past Ja is 6'7", 6'9", that you don't have better athleticism without somebody guarding that middle. Man, I can see him. I can't say it. Go ahead. Steven Adams, good job.
And then the Nuggets up top, which is all their roster, of course, with the Joker and everything. They're just a really talented roster. They play well together, and as it shows by their record, teams have trouble stopping them.
And they have the same issue with Michael Porter Jr., who gets hurt every single year. And if he comes out, If any of the other guards go out, it puts a lot on Joker, who is playing awesome. And I don't want to get into that three-time in a row MVP conversation, which it's dying to come out of me. So, also, he didn't want to do it. I will. The Lakers obviously have a lot of work to do, but if I have a sleeper just because of LeBron and what he means to that team and what AD is supposed to be, and with the names that they have brought in now, fortifying their bench to have actually now you have a rotation that can come in with versatility in guards and forwards and defense. So with Mobama being able to block shots and shoot threes, the Lakers can be interesting if they can get into it. Obviously, they better make the play-in, but man, it'd be nice to see some of the teams fall down like Phoenix just did again before Durant gets back and maybe steal some spots. So that is going to be it. Well, I hope we didn't rush. We're going to be fixing our format. Monty's going to have a more steady schedule, so we'll be able to come to you at least once a month. But this has been Robinson.
And Robinson.
Holla.